Yesterday, the Nintendo 64 turned 29 on its North American release, and it's hard not to feel a wave of nostalgia thinking back on its incredible lineup. So I decided to put together a little list of my favourite titles on the console. For long-time viewers, you may know that I do have memory issues due to a cerebral event, so I thought it would also be nice to get a bit sentimental and share some memories that I still have about these games. Also, for this list, I've only ranked games that are available on the Nintendo Switch online service, and that means some amazing classics didn't quite make the cut. But it also gives you a list of games that you can just jump straight into now on your Nintendo Switch. These are the 10 titles that left their biggest mark on me, whether through unforgettable gameplay, amazing music, or memories shared with friends and family. Number 10, WinBack Covert Operations. WinBack came out in 1999 and it was published by Koei. It was one of the first games to feature a true cover-based shooting system. Players controlled Jean-Luc Cougar as he infiltrated a high-tech facility using walls and corners to peek out and fire. At the time, critics were divided on the graphics and the pacing, but many praised the game's innovation. Looking back, its influence is clear. Elements of WinBack designs can be seen in later classics like Metal Gear Solid 2 and Gears of War. Its arrival on the Nintendo Switch Online app surprised many fans because it's kind of aged to a cult favourite. Here in Australia, we had a magazine called N64 Gamer, and I want to shout out to Stephen O'Leary and Narayan Patterson, who are some of my favourite journalists. And they shared a preview of Operation WinBack. But over here, the game had a shaky release date in the AU market, so I had to just keep checking in with my local retailer every weekend. Finally, one day I found a lone copy and snapped it up. I played it so much. The cover and fire core mechanic was so addictive, and I was so surprised when it dropped on NSO, considering it's always been a bit of a niche title over here. But it was so great to experience this wonderful game again. Mario Golf. Mario Golf came out in 1999 and it was made by Camelot, and it's a golf game that combines approachable gameplay with the charm of the Mario universe. Players can choose from their colourful cast of characters, each with unique stats, and compete across a variety of creative courses. Critics did praise it for its balance of fun and challenge, noting that it appealed to both casual and those looking for a bit of a deeper golf experience. Its mix of skill shots, power-ups and multiplayer options helped it stand out from traditional golf games at the time and cemented it in its place as a fan favourite. Now, I don't recall a lot about playing this game back in the day on the original N64, but I frequently play it now with one of my friends on NSO during our weekly catch-ups. It's a really fun golf game, and I know there are other titles like Everybody's Golf and Easy Come Easy Golf, but this one was just such a colourful and enjoyable romp with Mario and friends. 1080 Snowboarding. 1080 Snowboarding by Nintendo was released in 1998, and it was a more grounded take on snowboarding compared to the N64's more cartoonish titles like Snowboard Kids. It focused on realistic physics, precise controls, and a true sense of speed, and critics would praise it for its smooth gameplay, challenging courses, and technical depth, making it one of the standout sports titles on the system. Its mixture of slalom, trick modes, and competitive racing set a benchmark for snowboarding games of the era. And like I said, we did have games like Snowboard Kids, which were known for its high-flying and over-the-top aerobatics, but 1080 just provided such a more realistic experience. I still play this a lot on the NSO, and I'm very rusty, but I still have such a great time until it's time to snowboard on the gravel. Here's hoping that we get the amazing sequel, 1080 Avalanche, on the GameCube NSO app sometime soon.
3, 2, 1, go!
Wave Race 64. 1996 Nintendo was on fire, and this was one of the first racing games to really show off the N64's 3D capabilities. The game featured dynamic water physics that affected how the jet skis handled, and the tracks offered a variety of challenges with changing tides, waves and obstacles. Critics loved its smooth controls, technical innovation and multiplayer fun, making it one of the system's standout titles. The trick system and competitive modes added even more replay value, cementing its place as a classic. Now, so many people had this game and it was such crazy fun. While the core of the game was racing around those tracks that we mentioned before, which would sometimes change between laps, I wager that many players, myself included, spent a lot more time in Dolphin Park doing jumps and flips. Follow that dolphin.
We're heading out. All aircraft report.
Star Fox 64, 1997.
You're becoming more like your
Star Fox 64 blasted onto the Nintendo Switch in 1997, and it's a 3D rail shooter that combined fast-paced aerial combat with memorable characters and branching mission paths. Players controlled Fox McCloud and his team through a variety of environments and battling enemies while collecting medals and unlocking alternative routes. Critics praise its tight controls and cinematic presentation and engaging multiplayer modes. The game's voice acting, including the iconic "Do a barrel roll" line, made it one of the most quotable and beloved N64 titles.
Do a barrel roll.
Despite my memory issues, I remember getting Star Fox clear as day. I was having a bit of a rough time at school and my parents picked me up to take me to see Galaxy Quest, which was a fantastic movie, but I won't go on about that. We were walking past the game store after the movie and my dad asked me what a cool game was, and I said Lilac Wars, which is the Australian name of Star Fox over here. He purchased it and we went home and I played it for hours. It's one of the memories that I hold very dear of my parents and a game that I still revisit every time and try to take new paths.
Who are you guys?
We're Star Fox.
You'll never defeat Astro!
Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie came out in 1998 and it was developed by the legendary Rare. And it's a 3D platformer that blends expansive worlds, clever puzzles, and quirky humour. Players controlled Banjo the bear and Kazooie the bird as they explored themed levels, collected items, and battled the evil witch Gruntilda. People loved the intuitive level design, charming characters, and the playful soundtrack composed by Grant Kirkhope. The game was widely regarded as one of the greatest platformers of its generation, and it really helped define the N64 era. Now, this game could make the list for Grant Kirkhope's legendary soundtrack alone. I had so much fun hunting down jigsaw pieces and playing this game. Every level, every musical track, every character, it was just an absolute delight, and it's still revered as one of the greatest platformers today. Now, if you're a fan of Banjo-Kazooie, you might want to check out Yooka-Rayplay, which comes out next week. Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark came out in the year 2000 and it built on the success of GoldenEye while introducing its own original characters and a rich sci-fi world. Players took control of Joanna Dark, a skilled agent navigating missions full of stealth, combat, and high-tech gadgets. People loved the advanced AI, refined gunplay, and cinematic presentation, as well as the depth of its single-player and multiplayer modes. Its ambitious design made it one of the more standout shooters on the N64, and it's a classic that's still celebrated today. Perfect Dark took GoldenEye's hugely successful formula and just ran with it, creating memorable characters and flashing out its amazing sci-fi world. The game had reload animations, which doesn't sound like a big deal now, but it was huge back in the day. Refined gunplay, and a massive scope of levels that make it one of the best shooters of all time.
Hello.
Super Mario 64. In 1996, Nintendo gave us Super Mario 64, and it was the game that defined 3D platforming. It introduced true analog stick movement, dynamic camera controls, and open-ended, non-linear level design. Players explored Peach's castle, collecting power stars through its inventive challenges, puzzles, and platforming feats. People loved the precision, creativity, and soundtrack, calling it a revolutionary experience, and it honestly set the standard for the industry. Its influence is felt in almost every modern platformer, from Mario Galaxy to contemporary indie titles. Mario 64 was the absolute pinnacle of 3D platformers at its time. Everything from the level design to the soundtrack and the epic battles with Bowser felt perfect. I remember the first time I explored Bob-omb Battlefield and felt the true freedom of moving in a fully 3D world. It was unlike anything I'd ever played before. In replaying it on Nintendo Switch Online, I've rediscovered the thrill of every Power Star challenge, and it's only further built my hype for the upcoming Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 pack, and it reminds me why Mario is such a timeless character. Number 2, GoldenEye. GoldenEye 007 landed on our consoles in 1997, and it was a first-person shooter that defined multiplayer gaming on consoles. Players controlled James Bond across a series of missions based on the film, combining stealth shooting and objective-based gameplay. You could even drive a tank. The single-player campaign was praised for its variety, AI, and level design, while the split-screen multiplayer quickly became legendary. Critics and fans alike consider this a groundbreaking FPS that set the standard for future console shooters. Its enduring popularity stems from its perfect blend of accessibility and tactical depth. GoldenEye 007 was my first game on the N64, along with Shadows of the Empire, and I remember the night of my birthday having some friends over and playing remote mines on the facility all night without sleeping. It was a perfect multiplayer game that seemed to gain in popularity the longer it was on the market, and that's really quite amazing. Ask any gamer who was alive during those days and they will tell you that GoldenEye 007 is the greatest FPS of all time. And finally, at number 1, it had to be The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It was 1998 and Nintendo was on a high, and they brought what is widely regarded as one of the greatest games ever made to the N64. Ocarina of Time introduced fully 3D exploration, lock-on targeting, and time travel mechanics that were groundbreaking at the time. Players controlled Link on a quest to save Hyrule, solving puzzles, exploring expansive dungeons, and collecting iconic items. Gamers and critics alike praised its storytelling, level design, musical score, and it's influenced countless games ever since. It's a combination of adventure, exploration, and innovation, and that has made it a timeless masterpiece. Could it have been anything else on this list? I remember the first time entering Hyrule Field while the music crescendoed as the game unveiled a vast open world at your fingertips, and it was just perfection. The time traveling mechanic was well ahead of its time, and the dungeon designs, not you Water Temple, were nearly perfect. When saving Hyrule got too tough, you could just spend your time fishing at Lake Hylia trying to catch the infamous Hylian Loach. Ocarina of Time still remains, in my opinion, an absolute masterclass in video game design. And there's my list. The Nintendo 64 was truly iconic because of the wide variety of games it offered, from its groundbreaking 3D adventures and innovative shooters to quirky platformers and unforgettable sports titles. Everyone's N64 experience was different, and there are so many classics that didn't make it onto this list, and I'd love to hear from you. What games did you spend your most time with, and which ones are your personal favourite? Share your memories and we can just celebrate this incredible console together. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it, the best way you can support What's It Like is by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. For more reviews, click on the thumbnails to the right, and for everything Nintendo, check out whatsitlike.com.au.